Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a professor for social work management, and you are listening to Managing Around, the bi-weekly podcast about social science, culture, and management. Managing Around is part of the Talk About Organizations podcast network, a community resource and discussion platform for key ideas in management and organization studies, which is supported by our listeners.
Welcome to Managing Around. Today, we are drawing inspirations from Paul Bate's seminal work, Strategies for Cultural Change, in which he challenges traditional views of organizational culture, urging us to see it not just as an attribute an organization has, but as the very essence. As we explore his insights, we will unravel the complexities of thinking culturally about organizations and discuss practical strategies for enacting meaningful and sustainable cultural change. Join me as we navigate the intricate pathways of altering the very core of an organization's identity. Let's start with the author. Paul Bate is an accomplished academic and writer, particularly recognized for his contributions in the field of organizational studies. His expertise includes the areas of healthcare management, organizational culture, and change management. Bate is known for his work on the complexities of organizational culture and strategies for its change, as illustrated in his book, Strategies for Cultural Change. His book challenges simplistic approaches to organizational culture, advocating for a deeper, more anthropological understanding of culture as something an organization is rather than has. Bate emphasizes the complexities in thinking culturally about organizations and change processes, critiquing models of strong cultures and their underlying assumptions about leadership and control. The book uses case studies, such as the British Railways experiences, to explore cultural barriers to innovation and propose a more nuanced approach to cultural change. It's structured into two parts, addressing both theoretical frameworks and practical implication strategies for cultural change. Reviewers commended Bate's approach for stimulating rethinking of conventional management paradigms and providing valuable insights for practitioners and scholars in strategic management and organizational culture. Let's move on to the main question: what are the four suggested strategies? He outlines four main strategies for affecting change in organizational culture. These strategies are centered around understanding and reshaping how an organization operates at a fundamental level, with a focus on its underlying beliefs, values, and practices. Bate's approach is comprehensive, emphasizing the need for deep, systematic change rather than superficial alterations. And here are the four strategies. First up, we have the aggressive strategy, embodying the power-cohesive approach. Think of it as the decree from above. It's conflict-centered, non-collaborative, a classic win-lose scenario where changes are imposed unilaterally. It's a strategy of assertiveness and directness. Secondly, we shift gears to the conciliative strategy. This is all about group problem solving. Picture a collaborative win-win situation where solutions emerge organically, integrating diverse perspectives, a joint approach that fosters unity and understanding and participation in the organization. Moving on to the corrosive strategy. This might sound daunting, but it's essentially about political and coalitional maneuvers. It's unplanned, evolutionary, relying heavily on networking. Think of it as the informal approach, where change percolates through informal channels and alliances. Lastly, the indoctrinative strategy focuses on a normative re-educative process, akin to the training approach. It's about educating and reorienting attitudes and norms, molding the cultural fabric through learning and development. Each of these strategies offer unique insights into affecting change in organizational cultures. Understanding and applying these strategies can lead to profound transformations in any organization. And there is always a story behind the story. Martin Large, who published an informative book review in 1995, wrote this, and I quote from the review. This is built on with a superb cultural analysis of this fiasco of one of the most successful innovations ever to have failed. The Advanced Passenger Train, APT. Initiated in 1967 by British Rail, this project was finally abandoned in 1985 after over £33 million had been invested in developing costs. This case study is used to explore British Rail's anti-innovative culture, which paralyzed and ultimately killed off the APT project. Bates' thesis is that there were various switch-offs to innovation in the culture, such as segmentalism, conservatism, isolationism, elitism, neologism, structuralism, and pragmatism. His conclusion is that it was not so much that the train was objectively wrong, just that it did not fit the management culture. The fundamental problem was that the culture had no way of appreciating, valuing, or responding positively to the project. This case study is relevant reading for anyone involved with innovation who needs a theoretical and practical grasp of how culture can help or hinder success in this area. End of quote. And what conclusions can be drawn from this seminal work? Well, let's only cover today the 3 pivotal insights that can transform our approach to managing and understanding businesses. Firstly, Bate challenges us to rethink our conventional wisdom about how organizations operate. He intricately weaves together the concepts of organizational culture, strategy, and management, revealing them not as isolated elements but as deeply interconnected parts of a complex and nonlinear system. Secondly, Bate bridges the gap between theory and practice. His book is not just a collection of abstract concepts. It's grounded in real-world experiences and practical examples. He calls for more sophisticated methods of cultural analysis and a deeper examination of how cultural change interventions impact organizational performance. Finally, reflecting on the anthropological approach, Bate encourages us not just to observe and analyze different cultures, but to engage in a process of reflective self-awareness. This approach is not just about changing others, it's about changing ourselves. Okay, that's all for today. If you are interested in this topic and in the book, you find a reference in the show notes. Keep questioning, keep learning, and stay curious. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening. Managing Around, the bi-weekly podcast about social science, culture, and management. Managing Around is part of the Talk About Organizations podcast network, a community resource and discussion platform for key ideas in management and organization studies, which is supported by our listeners. If you liked this episode, please leave a review on your favorite podcast website. There's also a link in the show notes. If you've got any thoughts on this episode, or if you've got any idea about new podcast topics or questions you'd like to discuss, send me an audio file or voice note to hi@profmanagement.de. For any non-audio comments, drop a tweet or DM to @profmanagement on Twitter or Instagram, please. For more information, visit my website www.profmanagement.de. Thank you for listening and see you next time.